Today is Thursday, July 22nd. My name is Jennifer Heidinga, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Today, our text comes from Luke 5. When he had finished speaking, Jesus said to Simon, "Put out into deep water, and let down the nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets." When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. Verses 4 through 7. Luke's story of the call of Simon Peter, Andrew, James, and John is the only place in the Gospels where the story of the miraculous catch of fish is also found. In the Gospels of Matthew and Mark, when they are called, it seems like they abruptly leave everything and follow Jesus. Luke, however, lingers. There's something more that he wants to tell us. In Luke's Gospel, this is not Simon Peter's first encounter with Jesus. Jesus has already been to Peter's home in Capernaum, where he healed his mother-in-law in Luke 4:38-39. Perhaps this gives a better picture as to Peter's willingness to let Jesus use his fishing boat as a floating pulpit in verse 3. The call of Peter and his partners wasn't an act of blind faith here as he lets down his nets for one more try. He was acting in faith on what he had already seen and experienced. That's what it's like to follow Jesus in faith and trust. Knowing what we have seen and heard with our own eyes and ears and hearts. It can't have been an easy night for the fishermen. I'm sure they were weary from the long, thankless night of fishing, dejected because they hadn't caught a single fish. The one thing on their side, perhaps, is that a storm hadn't sprung up during the final watch of the night, which was a common occurrence. But Jesus had something he wanted to show them, and it wasn't simply for the sake of displaying his power. Jesus wanted to teach Peter, Andrew, James, and John a lesson. Yes, they had endured a long, hard night. They were at the end of their shift. They were ready to head home with empty pockets and empty hands. But Jesus wanted to show them what abundance truly looked like. And then Jesus wanted them to follow him. Luke doesn't tell us that the four fishermen took time to sell their catch or enjoy the abundance in some other way. No, instead, as soon as they landed, they left everything and followed Jesus. Luke 5:11. They followed him into costly learning with long hours, confusing at times, exhilarating at others, depleting, tiresome, and full of pain and suffering too. They followed him because of his sovereignty. They followed him because of his authority. They followed him because they saw in him what they had been searching for their whole lives: Jesus Christ, their Lord, their Messiah, their God. Listen to my voice and trust what I tell you, and I will show you what it means to be my disciple, Jesus was saying to them. Later, Peter writes, "So, if you are suffering in a manner that pleases God, keep on doing what is right, and trust your lives to the God who created you, for he will never fail you." From 1 Peter 4:19. God will never fail us. When we feel like we are weary from the journey, when the pain or the suffering seems insurmountable, when the longest nights seem like our truest reality, it is there that Jesus meets us and says, "Don't be afraid. Follow me." Jesus has the authority and sovereignty over all things in heaven and on earth. When we forget these truths, we take the weight of the world, of our vocations, our families, our health, our finances, all on our own shoulders. We miss the abundance that God provides because we refuse to step out in faith to listen to what he says to us, because it doesn't always make sense, because we're weary, because sometimes the odds are stacked against us. God won't always let us rest in that abundance, as with the 4 disciples, but it is a reminder of the sovereign hand of God in our lives, guiding us and shaping our hearts and our minds more into His likeness. Jesus also has sovereignty over our hearts, but more on that next week. As you journey on, may the peace of the Lord Christ go with you, wherever He may send you. May He guide you through the wilderness, protect you through the storm. May He bring you home rejoicing at the wonders He has shown you. May He bring you home rejoicing once again into our doors. Test, test.